But when I look at the influence on, people and the way they move and the way they dress, I definitely think.
Life can be beautiful if you let it.
In the bowl.
Yo, what do you know? Welcome to the Bowl Podcast. Shout out to Hustle Five Ways for hosting. I'm your host, Nas.
She got tall man live from Dubai.
And as always, in the Bowl Podcast is sponsored by your nation's own #1 mobile hookah provider. They not only do private events, but they also do wholesale distribution and take that experience to that next level. What's up?
What's going on, man? How's everything on your side?
Life is good, man. Life is good. It's like, I think it's truly like roller coasters, right? It's like life is, one thing I'm starting to learn about life is like, that's probably the greatest analogy you can ever consider life as, right? It's fucking highs, lows, twists, corners,
Ups and downs.
Ups and downs, you know what I'm saying? You got little curveballs that get thrown at you. But life is good, man. Life is good. And, not even trying to start the show off on deep, man. It's just like, you just think about all the shit that goes on out in the world. We talk about like just how people get in their minds and, people don't get to experience the next day and never know when their time is called. You know what I'm saying? Not looking at the finer things. I think that's why I always just try to put that positive side on
Yeah, no, you have to, man.
it.
You have to. That's why, one of the greatest joys in life, man, is just sitting back cracking jokes, man, laughing. Because you got to enjoy the moment, man.
Facts. I think laughter is probably one of the greatest remedies. Just releasing that stress and just laughing.
Exactly. Life is too serious, especially right now, man.
Facts. And on that note, before we get into the show, on that note, gotta do a cheers.
Yes, sir.
Life.
The life. Man. So what's going on, man? I know last week you had a cookout at the crib, right? You had some folks over.
Yeah, man. I had some folks. Some people call it a mini family reunion, but you tell one, you tell two, you tell three, you tell them all. It was a good time. I had to show people what that grill work was like. I had to show them what time it was. Shit, it made me kind of think. I don't know. You know how we talk about like dudes in shorts and hoochie shorts and shit.
No,
I
I'm
was
telling
really
you, on the grill with hoochie shorts.
yeah. I was really. I think that's a fucking oxymoron. I don't even think you're allowed to do shit like that. I don't think you're allowed to do shit like that. There's an oxymoron. But I was thinking, I think I'm gonna get me a grill apron.
Yeah, you should, man. I got one. It's key that way. You got your pockets to put various things in.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah, that's what I think I'm gonna get. I think I'm gonna get me. I think I definitely elevated to a new level, especially what I'm saying. I was chefing it up on the grill. So I think that's my next purchase. A grill
Yeah,
apron.
man. Yeah, but that way you're like a true chef. You got your thermometer. You got your tools. It's like your tool belt, man.
Got the whole thing. Even on the side of the grill, I got my little burner on the side. I got the smoker on the other side. I think I'm about to, put numbers in this shit.
You got to, man. But I'll tell you this much though. If you come looking, uber professional, man, that means you gotta deliver on the grill, man. You can't be serving, dry chicken and everything has to be right, man. Because when you put that apron on, that's bringing a touch of pro- professionalism to it.
No, that's facts. I think you like you said, I think you go from the novice level, and then you know what I'm saying, you're intermediate, you know what I'm saying, then you're an expert. You know, I think I'm at that level. I'm right between the intermediate and an expert.
Yeah. Hey man, I can dig it, man. I
You
can
know,
dig it.
I think that apron is going to solidify that, right? It's going to stamp it. And be like, all right, he's kind of serious about it, right? But then, you know, once I master a couple things, you know, I got some things in the works, you know, that I'm gonna start testing out in the smoker side of it. I think once I master that, then fuck with your boy.
Yeah, man. That smoking is a whole nother, skill set. Because you got to keep the heat at the right temperature. You got to keep, you know, fresh. I'm trying to mind my words, so I don't get ate up, man. But you got to keep, your wood box, has to be has to be on point, man. You got to keep, your coals, your wood, whatever it is you're using, man, it's perfection, because
That is true.
that's a different game, 'cause I know a lot of people, use the cheat code and they got these electric smokers, which
I was gonna
I
ask you.
kind of get for convenience, but you get away from the authenticity of really smoking when you got the electric one, man. I get it.
So
Don't know if
how you feel about gas grill then? You think charcoal's still better? I mean, I think flavor of charcoal is always gonna be better. You know,
always, always. I
But
mean,
what do you think? Think of gas or
well, I got the combo grill, so one side is gas, another side is charcoal. I mean, I like gas if you want to do something real quick. If you want to make dinner for the family and you just throwing something on, like say you got some steaks or something that you just trying to cook, get back to the table and eat. I
yeah,
think that the gas is efficient. But I mean, if you're sitting here holding down a function, for the family, you got folks coming through, then you got that time to set up, for the charcoal and really get to work with it. So I think it all just depends on the situation.
yeah, no, I can dig it. I can dig it. I think I agree. I can't lie. I agree. But I'm on that fence because I'm not gonna lie. There's certain brands of grills out there. That is the cheat code. They are electric, but they do put in work because they still give that flavor of like the wood pellets. You know, put it in the feeder, and you got the variety of different wood pellets that it comes in. So I don't know, man. I'm definitely on that fence, but I can see the cheap part of it. And I don't know. Maybe I'll take myself to intermediate thing. Maybe I'm a intermediate player, right? Because mine's electric. I'm not gonna lie. I'm that guy.
Wow.
That's a
Come
confession.
on. Wow.
Yeah, but it's pretty sweet though. I mean, think about the shit, right? You know what I'm saying? So maybe retract some
Wow.
of my shit, right? I think it's still sweet because yes, it's electric, but you can still do wonders on it. I don't care what no one says, man. You know what I'm saying? You can still do wonders. Now, yes, do I want one of those like eggs where I can, really put the wood in there and spend that time? But I don't know, man. When it's like 98 degrees outside, I ain't really trying to fuck with no coals. I ain't got time for that shit. It's too hot. Then
Oh
you got bama
man.
sputting all over your food. But I don't know, maybe that's
Nah.
the love people put inside the food, right? I don't know, man. But that shit right there, yeah, I don't know. I do.
Nah, man. Grilling is like I look at grilling like making a hookah. I mean, it's the entire process. I mean, it's having all your equipment. It's the setup. Using the the quick starter. Getting that going for your coals and while you're going back in and prepping everything. It's all a process, man. When I hear you say the electric grill. I think about somebody with an electric hookah bowl, man. They just squeezing some liquid in there and firing that thing up, man. It gets you to the end result. The end result's still the same. You're smoking, but just that energy and love that goes into it is not as rewarding. You know,
I
I'm not knocking it. I'm just saying, no, you
I
don't
agree.
get that. You don't get that reward, man.
You know what? I can respect that. I can respect that, even even in my circumstances, right? I can respect that because I do kind of feel the same way. I feel that that is part of the love in the cooking. 'Cause that's the best thing about food, especially when you go certain places and they're not buying. There's no 18-wheeler behind the store delivering, you know, pre-seasoned made food, right? Like in the chains and shit. To
Yeah,
guarantee the consistency of flavors, right? It's like when you go to certain restaurants, you do want where they're kind of making to order. It's kind of annoying because the service takes a lot longer, but it's just an expectation, especially if it takes like 30, 40 minutes. You're like, all right, this shit's about to be good because hopefully
exactly.
food got into it. So that's one thing my aunt has always told me. You know what I'm saying? Food always comes out better when it's made with love. So
Definitely,
I I,
definitely.
I agree with you 100%. I'm not even gonna argue that, but I still say I can throw the fuck down. But I agree with you.
Nah, man, and I don't doubt you. And what I'm about to say is not a knock, but it's like if you make something in the microwave
Mm,
versus on the stove, man. Even when you sit down to eat, after you then put that energy into it, you feel good about eating. You feel good about the presentation of it.
yeah, that's fair. That is fair. I will give you that. I will give you that.
Yeah, man. So what else is going on, man? It looks like it's
What's
been
up with
a
your world? What's up with your world, man? What was your weekend like?
oh man, it was all good. We went to check out a brunch, this brunch called Bubblicious.
Mm.
So this was like the first official, you know, brunch that we went to out here in Dubai. The first one we went to was like a late brunch. It was like an iftar. So it's like the meal was they just bring certain things up to the table. You enjoy that. But I mean, this was the true buffet style with like seven different cooking stations just had everything in abundance. I mean they had some lamb there that was just insane. Had
Mm.
sushi, had just all kind of sides. Man, had a Asian section. Where they were making ramen over there. I mean it was amazing. I will say one thing. This is probably the first brunch, as we call brunch, that I've been to. Where I didn't get an omelet. Because back in DMV, it's like the longest lines be for the omelet and the waffle
Yeah,
stand.
yeah.
But they had everything else, but that. But it was, I mean, it was a good experience. It was about a 3 hour brunch. After that, definitely came back and just sat on the couch, and tried to watch, some of that food off, watching TV. But I mean, I enjoyed it. It had entertainment throughout the brunch. I had a guy walk around on stilts. Had this dude, and it's funny we're talking about electric. My man had an electric violin,
Mm.
and my man was just walking around. And when I tell you that he was putting his all into the music he was playing, man, it was definitely a good experience, man.
That's dope. That's dope. That's dope. They have like, so yeah, it was entertainment. So it was like a real little brunch.
Yeah. Out here they brunch is definitely an event and an experience.
Mm.
And it's like, I mean, the food and beverages, come along with it, but, it was an experience. And everyone is saying, that brunch is like 10 times better, in the wintertime, when you can go outside on the patios. They have even more cooking stations. And it's like, that's a little overwhelming because it's like, when you're in here, it's like you have all this abundance of food. And then someone says, hey, but, I mean, a couple months when it's cooler outside, there's even more. And you're like, well, outside the omelet stand, what else can they have? I'm not gonna let that omelet go, man. I love a good omelet, and you know. But I'm excited to see what comes from that. So I mean,
Yeah.
it was a good experience, man.
You know what's crazy? The omelet steaks, you're right, man. The omelet steak, I think that's why I don't even really get omelets at buffets, because the line be too long, right? Because,
Yeah,
you know, what I don't appreciate, I'm not gonna lie, a lot of buffets only serve like pork, right? Or beef and shit like that, right? And I've been trying to go like
yeah,
to buffets where you said they got lamb, they got seafood, they got, you know, chicken products, turkey products, and stuff like that, right? You know, you should be able to accommodate the masses. But everyone, all they do is got bacon and shit like that on there. Some of the shit that be blowing me.
yeah. See, that's one thing about the Middle East, man. Because pork is not something that's readily available here. I mean, if you look, real hard, you can find it. I mean, they have some grocery stores which have a non-Muslim section,
Mm,
where you can, go buy pork. But when you look on the menus, it's always, beef, sausage, beef bacon, veal bacon, chicken, turkey. It's always an abundance of everything. And this buffet actually had a small pork section.
oh, wow.
They had some things there. So when I tell you they had, everything under the sun, I mean, they literally had everything under the sun. I mean, the seafood stand, was just packed out with everything from, prawns to crabs to lobster,
Yeah.
just just everything. But I will say, as an individual that does not eat pork, I mean, it feels good to, when you go out and get like a bacon cheeseburger or something,
Mm,
or an omelet, because you're right. A lot of places that we frequent in the past, it's like pork or nothing. And some spots have come around and started adding a little turkey to the menu, but
mm.
overwhelmingly, it's the pork product. So you end up with a cheese omelet with all the vegetables. So all they got is bacon bits over there. And if you're lucky, you may get some shrimp.
Bacon bits.
Exactly, man.
Yeah, no. But it's crazy you say that too, right? It's like, I don't know, man. It's like when you get this I don't know, people really just this love and this fixation with, you know, obviously that's a big discussion. Can you ever get turkey bacon that can outbeat a pork bacon? I'm biased. I'm gonna say yeah, but deep down inside, I still feel like there's a good argument there, right? And but I think that's key to a good spot, right? That you know they're able to accommodate the masses. That's why I say out there, man, probably easier because, like you said, you either go from bacon or you go straight vegan. And there's no fucking in between.
Exactly.
And you like, damn, man, like where's the middle folks? Like it's like you just forgot about everyone else and just said it's either all or nothing. Like, come on. I want shit. I want, you know. But
Nah.
that's my thought. I don't think it has to go from pork to fucking portobello mushroom. Like, come on.
Yeah.
Like it's either
It,
one.
it, exactly. When there's so much more, in between, that gray area for other products. Again, minding my words
Yeah.
is so vast that
Facts.
it shouldn't be those two extremes.
Yeah. No. Facts. And it is crazy because, like I said, you know, you got a now all of a sudden you got a portobello mushroom burger, a big ass mushroom between two pieces of bread. I'm confused.
Yeah, yeah. I try to say, I mean, it's something for everyone, but that's not something, I can really get behind. I mean, for the vegans and vegetarians and pescatarians and any other Aryans out there, I respect what you do, but I think, again, when we were talking about like with the oxtails and, taking that and putting that in mac and sandwiches and all that stuff, I mean, I understand that, folks got to be creative, I mean, because
Yeah.
if all you eat is vegetables, I
Yeah.
mean, that gets kind of old quick, so you need to find a way to put some sort of spin on it.
Yeah.
to enjoy it. But nah, not my cup of tea.
No, I feel you.
Literally and figuratively.
Yeah, I feel you. I feel you. And it's so funny too, right? Just speaking of the extreme when it comes to that food world, you hear about how New York just banned aerosol whipped cream for anyone under the age of 21.
Yeah. I was reading. I mean, because when I first saw it, I was like, guys, they're about to treat aerosol whipped cream like whipped cream like to do liquor. You got to produce an ID to get it. But then I kind of got into the background of why they're doing it and how people were abusing the cans, and
Hmm.
I'm like, I see they're trying to protect people from themselves.
It's crazy of how like people are just can't chill the fuck out. You know what I'm saying? Like you abusing aerosol cans now. I'm confused. Like what are you doing? I mean, not now. I mean, it's been happening for years. It's probably getting worse.
Yeah.
But it just makes you think. Like why would you not just say, you know what? Let me just. I don't know, man. I mean, why don't you just go out and enjoy the items that were grown in the earth? You know what I'm saying? Just you know what I'm saying? Why not? Why put something in there like that? Like that doesn't even make sense. Like why are you inhaling an aerosol can?
Everybody's looking for the alternative, man. Looking for something different. Again, I'm not that individual, so I can't understand it. And it's one of those things where I mean, you got a select handful, who are abusing something, and now the masses have to suffer, behind it.
You know, it's crazy because you sit there and think about how you know I've been thinking about a lot, especially as a new father. It's like I sit there and think about all the wild shit I used to do. So even like when you used to inhale those little helium balloons.
Yeah,
I never even thought about like people actually getting high off of that, right? Like I thought it was just like people just make that funny voice. That's all I thought it was. That's what I mean. That's but then it makes you think about like what I'm saying, like what are we showing the youth? What are we showing what are we showing them, right? And I think they are from what they see and what they learn
yeah,
and what we're teaching them. So all these nutty ass people out here acting silly and simple, what I'm saying? And some people glorifying on, on certain platforms. You're just like, come on, man. And now we're at a point to where now you got to ban fucking aerosol whipped cream.
yeah. It's wild, man. And I don't know if that's like a knee jerk reaction, because I remember back in the day, you get a nice little apple pie, and here we go, with the oven. You're getting that pre-made, apple pie with the crumbs on top, putting that in the oven, putting a little whipped cream on it.
Mm.
And this was, something I was doing in high school and college. So I mean, you mean to tell me, if we take a step back and look back to when, the younger tall man, when I was 19, that now I gotta wait till I'm 21 to get the aerosol whipped cream to put on my pie. I mean, it's extreme decision.
Yeah, man. I just don't get it. I just don't get it. It's sad. It's a rough road out here.
And talking about a rough world, there's this clip circulating about a pilot, and I forgot what airline he was on, but they played the audio because I guess they were pushing back from the gate. And my man was like, "Look, man, if y'all don't stop airdropping me news, I'm about to turn this plane back around and get security involved."
I saw that. Saw that.
And that is crazy because one, I mean, it's kind of funny and it's not funny. I mean, this man's up, he flying your plane, and he's trying to make sure he's going through security checks and getting everything all set for you to put your life in his hands. And y'all sitting here on the plane, dropping them nudes. And I don't know what kind of news they were. The man just said news, but obviously, whatever he was getting, my man was not with it because he was. The tone of his voice was like frustrated. Like, look, hey, seriously, y'all are gonna stop this, or I'm turning this plane around. It's almost like a parent, talking to a child. Child in the backseat acting up. They head to McDonald's. Someone's like, look, if you don't sit down, we're going back home. When I heard him, because I listened to it 3 or 4 times, it's like that's what I kept seeing in my head, man. This man literally taking the wheel, spanning it with one hand, turn back around at the gate, like, yeah, get everybody off this plane,
man. That is wild. Hey, I was reading that earlier today, and I was sitting there like, this world, man. I don't know. These folks is fucking crazy. I don't know, man. I guess you gotta find some sense of entertainment now. You know what I'm saying? Like you said, laughter's the joy, right? It's like,
yeah,
you gotta find something to take your mind out. Unfortunately, not everyone's in the joke.
Nah, I agree, man. I agree, but sending it to the pilot, I can see about sending it to the person sitting up in 3B. It's like, you up in first class, you got your metal silverware. I'm sitting here with this plastic cup of water that I had to, fight 5 minutes to get. You're sipping wine. I'm about to mess with you, but messing with the pilot,
But you know what? It made me think though, right? The only way your airdrop is on is if your phone's on.
This is true, yeah, because the phone's on until you start taxiing. In theory,
no. You can't say that. That's for fucking passengers. Okay, it's not for the fucking driving and piloting, right? It's not like I get they have autopilots, they got all this stuff in there, but anybody really trying to hear that? And we're now on autopilot, right? You just want to have a sense that the pilot has control of the wheel the entire time. You never know what's gonna happen up there, right? There's no ground, there's no traction, there's no nothing.
okay.
So when you're backing out, right, you would think that someone needs to turn that wheel to be able to turn on the tarmac to be able to continue, right? So I'm trying to figure out, why was this phone open? Did he have one of those little things you put on the air vents that hold your phone up? Like he's looking at waves or some shit? Like I'm trying to figure out what the fuck what made him have his phone on to where his airdrop was accessible? That's what I want to know.
That's it's a valid question, man. I remember when I was in Honduras, and I was on one of the scariest, sketchiest flights in my life, man. I was sitting right there on one, it was a small plane, so there was no first class. It was just like row 1 to like row 12. And the plane didn't even have a door. It was just like a little curtain that they could close, for the pilots, and the curtain was open.
Yeah.
And I don't even know if I've chosen this picture before, but up on the dashboard, my man looked like he had the good old Garmin GPS.
That's what I'm saying.
And I was like, if this is what this man is using, to fly us, then we're really in trouble, man. Because no pilot in this day, in the 21st century, should have a Garmin GPS up there leading the flight. It should be a computerized, it should be like the Tesla has the iPad screen. I'm gonna need a flight that has the iPad screen there.
Yeah, I want that shit to have frequent updates. Like fuck that shit. I don't want.
Yeah.
I don't want. Nah. It's not. It can't be It's got frequent updates. Saying gotta have that technology. Like you said, what I'm saying, you up in the air, and that's all you got.
Exactly. Well, man, it is a valid question of why his phone was on, and we could come up with tons of excuses of what he had going on, but I don't know. The whole thing about turn your phones off before flights take off and the interference and things like that. I don't know if I necessarily buy into all of that just because I know everybody doesn't turn their phone off, but I get it's a safety thing, so I'll just go with it, man.
Yeah, at that moment, right, while you're at your job, and there are roughly could be 100 or so people. No, let's say like 200 people. Lives are in your hands. whatever you got going on in the world is fucking irrelevant. You gotta, you know what I'm saying, figure out how to disconnect yourself or not, right? Because that's heavy pressure, right? It's like you can't be in the middle of an argument with your other, you know what I'm saying, on a text or trying to go and win a raffle on, you know what I'm saying, an app, you know what I'm saying, for some sneakers and shit. Like, you tell me what's more important than making sure you don't fly this plane from A to B.
Yeah.
Okay, you want to get back to wherever A is. So
This is true, man. This is true.
I don't know. I just can't see that. I just can't see where anywhere that'd be okay for you not to be paying attention while you're flying the flight that I'm on.
I agree, man. I agree. And something else wild that I saw this week was Oscar Mayer, man,
Oh my
coming
God.
out with the frozen hot dog popsicles.
Yep.
And again, it's one of those things where, you know, I think people are bored and running out of, you know, things to do, man. Because a hot dog, yeah, man, the best hot dogs come off the grill. But is there really a need for you to be sitting on your couch, you know, watching TV, eating a frozen hot dog popsicle?
But that shit just made me just shiver right there, though. That shit is fucking trifling. Again, this is my opinion. Do what you want. But you can't tell me, because all you doing is eating a raw, cold, hot. You know what I'm saying? Because the hot dog's already cooked, right? Sorry, it's about
Exactly.
the most processed thing you could possibly eat, probably, right?
Yeah.
And so you're telling me you're gonna cook it, let it get cold, recook it, then put it in the freezer and eat that shit like a popsicle? That shit is fucking trifling.
Yeah, it's a little disturbing.
Yeah, that shit is disgusting. I honestly, fuck that opinion shit. Like, if you eat that shit, I don't know if we could be friends. Like, I just feel like I judge your palate. I judge the whole thing. And yes, there's a fucking difference between a frozen hot dog and just a regular old hot dog. Like a cooked. I don't even like the shit boiled. You know what I'm saying? Like, even that. Right? Nah, put that shit on the grill. Get some, you know what I'm saying, burntness on it and keep it moving. But if you eat a fucking hot dog popsicle, unfortunately, we're gonna have to really discuss about, you know, friendships and how unfortunately it just may not work as people grow apart.
No, I put that right up there with grown men eating hot dogs without the bun.
Mm-hmm. But what if they're on a carb kick? You know what I'm saying? What if they're just like, you know what, I'm not gonna have any carbs right now?
Nah, then you know what? If that's how you feel, then I need you to get a plate with a knife and fork. I don't need you walking by the grill while I'm sitting here flipping burgers over and you eating a hot dog with no bun, man. That is a disturbing look. You know, I think that again, you know, that's when friendships are tested. It's like, all right, look, we need to really have a serious conversation about what's going on here. Because the aesthetics, the visual, it just doesn't
yeah, man. I mean, what you just
doesn't make you comfortable.
you just hand wrapping a hot dog. That's all you doing, dog. That's all you doing, dog. You know what I'm saying? I feel you on that. I think that is a very disturbing visual. I think people just need to eat the hot dog the way it's going to be. But I do got a question, though, right? So, you know, there are some people out here, right? Even when it comes to like certain food, there are some people that are very particular about, you know, they got this whole lettuce wrap shit. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
And there are certain burgers that you can't have, you know, with like a certain kind of lettuce. Like they got that Buttercrisp lettuce. That's like the perfect, like it's a perfect looking bun, right? Kind of lettuce. It's not thick. It's just a regular old little piece of lettuce, but it's like in a round shape. It's the perfect piece of lettuce for that. But
yeah,
you know, it makes you think, right? It's like, are you going to start eating a hot dog like a lettuce hot dog?
Yeah, I thought about that. I mean, that's a
Wrap,
fair question.
you know, because I mean, I just, you know, it makes you just sit there and think, like, what? I mean, shit, everyone else already going to this, it's either one side or another, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And now if you're trying to, stop on the carbs, would you get a lettuce hot dog?
Nah, I don't think it's for me. I mean, I look at it where, like beef links. It's like, I mean, you may make that in the morning, with some eggs and, cut that up and, dip that in some mustard. I think that I would still take it to the knife and fork, man. Sit down and make an elegant meal out of it.
Nah, I feel you. I
Because
feel
I'm just imagining, when I start thinking of, you putting it in lettuce, I started looking at like a sub or something. I'm like, that's not really something I'll
yeah,
eat on the sub. Now, granted, a hot dog bun does resemble a mini sub bun, so I know that argument could be made, but
yeah,
I don't know. It's like either, I think that's one of those perfect examples of the two extremes. It's like either you eat it with a bun or you eat it on a knife and fork. There's not much in between. Because when you get in between, that's when it gets real weird. Because now you're just doing some things that are just different.
like you're a fucking weirdo. What the fuck you doing, right? Call a spade, man. What the fuck you doing, man? The fucking hot dog. I hear you. I hear you on that.
Yeah, man. It's just like eating a pizza with just eating the toppings and not eating the crust or the bread.
Hey, but there's
Because
some
it's
people
like, it's
that,
like then why are you even eating the pizza at that point?
yeah, but would you
It's
just
like
get
it's just it's not for you.
would you get a sauce pizza?
No, I mean a sauce pizza is lasagna. That's a pasta.
That is, I can hear that argument. I can hear that argument. I can hear that argument. You know, but yeah, no, I mean, I don't know, man. It's just like you said. I think in every kind of, like you said, vegetarian, pescatarian, whatever you are. I think there's somewhere like there should be some limits to certain,
Yeah,
and let some things just be what they are. You know what I'm saying? Let it just be. It's,
exactly.
Cause even like, I don't know, man. I know it's funny we're talking about, especially how we wrap it up this summer about the, go into the, next season. The
Yeah,
cookout season almost over technically, unless you got that electric or the gas. Fuck what you heard. You know,
yeah. You can still sneak out there when it gets a little nippy.
no, even when it's still, I grilled when it snowed before.
Yeah, same here.
You know, just turn that gas grill on real quick and keep it moving.
Oh, so in that instance, I will give you the gas grill. I'm not going to knock it there because it is cold and it's about getting in and getting out. So I give that to you.
And you still get that grill all season long. So it's all about the weighing the pros and the cons. But yeah, there is no pro in eating a hot dog just by itself. So I agree.
Nah,
I agree with you on that.
not at all, man. I'm trying to think, man. What else is going on? DJ Khalad, man, has released his 13th album.
Man.
You had a chance to check it out yet?
Yeah. There's a couple of joints on there I like, actually. I was surprised. I forget the name of it. I randomly go through it. But yeah, he got a couple actually alright tracks. I'm not gonna lie. Like Khaled, it's I can't even say he paved the way, right? I think, you got the Clues, the Quicks, you know what I'm saying? You
Kid
got
Capri.
and Capri. I mean, I think they're like the year before my era, right? But you know what I'm saying? I grew up with them, right? So, when you think about this DJ world, you know what I'm saying? You appreciate that art, you know what I'm saying? Because
Yeah,
honestly, all he is just a broker. You know what I'm saying? He just makes the deals, connect folks together, and I respect it, man. And that's one thing. I mean, as much as you get kind of tired of him just screaming the same thing over and over. You know what I'm saying? The Bama does put shit together pretty well. I give him that.
yeah,
You
yeah.
know,
No, he does.
and that's all he does. He literally, he's literally another one, and I'm not gonna say he is the one. You know what I'm saying? But you know, what was that? What was it? Not Clue. You had Clue. He had, what was it? Not Desert Storm. It was Desert Storm, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, there's a storm of slew. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You had all those. You had Drama. You know what I'm saying? Like, they mastered that mixtape world, and that's what he's doing now. They're not EPs. I mean, technically, they're fucking mixtapes.
Yeah, yeah, it could be classified that way.
You know, and so again, he's not saying anything except doing a quick little ad lib on everything, and that's it. He's just putting his little tag on it, broken the deal, and keep it moving. So I respect it, man. I ain't mad at the dude. You know what I'm saying? He put some good stuff together. But his album, to answer your question, or his mixtape, whatever you want to call it, it's all right. It's not bad. It's not bad. I don't know, what is it like? It's a decent amount of tracks on there. It's all right. I didn't know he
Yeah,
came out, to be honest. I was like, damn, all right.
yeah, because I was checking out a few podcasts. I saw him, popping up and talking about it, and kept talking about the August 26th release date.
Mm-hmm.
So of course I'm 8 hours ahead of the East Coast. So when I'm getting off work on Friday, it's like I mean, things are dropping. So usually on the ride home, or once I get in the house and figure out, am I hitting the gym, or am I gonna have some brunch? I usually whatever new music dropped that Friday, and I was pleasantly surprised. I mean, I put it on, and I started first with the Drake interlude, which was about 40 some seconds. It's like, okay, where is this going? But then when that second song came around, and you had Rick Ross, Lil Wayne, and JayZ, and
Yeah,
I
that
saw
was,
that,
yeah.
yeah, I saw the song was like 8 minutes, and I'm like, oh man, 8 minutes. This is about to be something. I'm like, I may need to sit down, for 8 minutes, 'cause I'm on the move trying to do things. And man, when I tell you that JayZ just blacked out on that verse, and said some of the realest things, because I mean, everybody can argue best JayZ verses and things of that nature, and I know that's part of the conversation now, like, hey, well, is this one of his greatest verses? But I mean, the man was talking some truth, and to the point where I had the TV on watching the news, and I had one of the major news programs on. I'm not going to sit here and drop that and drop them, because they're not sponsoring the show, but they were breaking down one of the JayZ verses, when he was talking about the millionaires he's created, and I was like, that's pretty valid. I mean, even
Yeah.
when the news is talking about it, as you look at Rihanna, you look at
Kanye.
Kanye.
Yep.
You look at, even through LeBron out there and say, hey, he's a rock boy. I mean, from his coaching tree,
Yeah.
the man has created some billionaires, and that's a big statement. I think they were talking about they're like 9 African American billionaires in the U.S., and he's responsible for a third of them. I mean, that's a pretty strong number and a strong metric right there.
You know what? That's why I say. So I'm not gonna lie. I gotta make this confession. I think it took me to my older age to really appreciate JayZ. I mean, I will always,
Okay.
no matter what, say that Reasonable Doubt is just, he went in on that joint, right? Like, that was solid. But I think that's just a fact, right? It's just, whether you fuck your opinion, like, that's a fact, right? Reasonable Doubt, especially at that time, that shit just went hard, right? At that
Yeah.
time, that moment, that shit went hard. But then you think, yeah, he had a couple joints that may not have been as hard as that in his later career, but he has. I'm not gonna lie, man. He's like a great definition of like evolving with time and growth, right? It's like,
Yeah.
and he can still associate stuff from back then with these, what I'm saying, metaphors and all that. It's like, you sit there and think like, And that's why I think as I've gotten older and more mature, I respect that. I can follow his story on that, right? And you just see the evolve.
That's valid.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Because even now he'll double back into like some reasonable doubt shit, and then bring it back to like, this is what I had to flip it into type shit, right? And then love it. Like that's what I fuck with. Because there's just certain things you're like, damn, that shit crazy. And then how you mentioned how he doesn't even go in there with a pen or a pad. He just goes in there and just kind of speaks what's on his mind.
Which is another, topic of debate and discussion, because one of the things I came across, they were talking about, both JayZ and Lil Wayne, who the both of them are arguably, two of the best, rappers that have ever rapped. Regardless of, what kind of list you have, whether it's your top 5, your top 10, your top 20, those two are always going to be, on that list, and somewhere, near the top of that list of them not using, a pen to write, but they've inspired, another generation of artists
Yeah.
who try to emulate, what they're doing because they're the greatest. And that could be some of the reason that we get, some of the music and content that we get. So it's up for debate because everybody wants to hop in there and be just like JayZ and just like Lil Wayne, but I mean both of them, their minds to me are they're not human. I mean, just the way they put together words, their thought process. I mean, it's something that's rare. And I don't think that it's something everybody can do. I get that you want to strive to emulate what they're doing and strive to reach their level, but I do think that some folks need to recognize that I mean, having a pen and a pad is not necessarily a bad thing.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be written off of, oh, no, I don't write things down. You know what I mean? Because that's a part of the process as well. I mean, they just came along and changed the game up with what worked for them. But just because it worked for them doesn't mean that has to be the blueprint, because it doesn't work for everybody.
Yeah, no, facts. Facts doesn't work for everybody. I think everyone needs to find their lane, right? And I think, but then also between Wayne and JayZ, it's like they're definitely from two different classes. I don't care what no one says. Like, Wayne's been out for a minute. I mean, we just talk about Cash Money. I mean, they've been out, obviously when JayZ was coming up. I mean, Wayne's been in for 20 plus years now. Plus, you know what I'm saying? And so that's a tough debate, but at the same time, they're two different audiences. But at the same time, let me ask you a question. Would you put Cash Money and Young Money up against the Rockefeller?
I could definitely see Rockefeller and Young Money. I could see those two catalogs, because I know we're in the land of verses right now. I could definitely see those two catalogs going back and forth. I mean, Cash Money, I think they can be in the conversation. I think a lot of the conversation with Cash Money really moves around the way Birdman came and kind of changed things up with his distribution deal. I think they kind of set the mark for that with how he structured his deal and how they got the money and retained things. I think that's kind of their bread and butter. But when I look at the lyricism and the influence on the culture, I think that falls more on Rockefeller. Hey, we can't get the deal. All right, we're gonna start this. We're gonna do it our own way. All right, hey, look, we're gonna go on the tour. We're gonna do this. they kind of laid down the groundwork for some of that. And when you look at Young Money, I mean, you look at that trifecta. I mean, you got Wake, Drake, Wayne, and Nicki, who are three icons, you know, and what they did, you know, within the culture of influencing, like, you know, the whole culture. You know, I think they were definitely, you know, more impactful, you know, than Cash Money. So I kind of hold Cash Money out to the side, and you know, another sphere, another realm, and not taking away anything they did. Because like I said, I mean, they did a lot for the culture. But when I look at the influence on, you know, people and the way they move and the way they dress, you know, I definitely think Rockefeller and Young Money lead the way in that area.
Yeah, and it's funny you say that too, because it made me think, right? You know, when you see JayZ in his early days, he had his 4X tees, you know, when white tees was big, you know what I'm saying? Folks had the Jabot jeans and all that, you know what I'm saying? And then when you see how Cash Money and Wayne was dressing on, they paved that way. They gave that blueprint to them, right? And then he kind of passed that baton, and then Wayne took it and ran with it. And now skateboarding, you know, truck
Yeah,
fit, you know what I'm saying? You got, I mean, not even trying to name drop. Again, they ain't sponsoring. You know what I'm saying? But he's got a whole new brand. But I think now, again, a lot of people are trying to think about all the folks now, again, the circle of life I think about, right? It's now you got JayZ, again, setting a new trend, you know, trying to reach that, you know, be part of that 3% of billionaires out here,
yeah,
you know? And so that's why I say, man, evolving is dope, man. It's like now it's just about, you know what I'm saying, going out here and doing your thing and pushing that envelope and just doing you,
yeah.
you know?
I agree.
So I can't ever get mad at that because, you know, it's one of those things where I think this man, you know what I'm saying, he dresses any way he wants to when he walks into a room. But he's also one of the smartest men when you walk into the room. You know,
He is.
people talking about, you know, would you rather have a dinner conversation with JayZ or get 500,000? Right? It's like even put that in the equation where at one point where, you know what I'm saying, or not even at some point, you know what I'm saying, right? But still, like, you know, I'd rather, you know, get some knowledge from JayZ so I can have the long run, like I have wealth and not just, you know what I'm saying, because $500 run out quick. You know what I'm saying? So it's
It
like,
will.
it's a tough one, right? It's like, all right, you know, but again, gotta give it to the man. I gotta respect it. Gotta respect
Definitely. And speaking of, you know, giving folks their flowers, you know, Serena Williams, you know, is playing at the U.S. Open this week, and this is her last
it. Yeah.
major tournament, you know, before she hangs her racket up in the rafters. And I'm not gonna lie, I need to catch up more on it. You know, I said I was gonna do that this weekend to kind of figure out, you know, what I mean, what's going on because I know that she started the tournament, but you know, I mean, where she is and how she's doing, you know, I'm not even gonna lie, you know, I'm definitely in the dark about that. You know, I've seen more about who's there watching her play versus, you know, what she's actually doing. But you know, I mean, she's also had, you know, a phenomenal run. You know, as you look at, you know, her and her sister, you know, I mean, what they did to tennis, and I
Yeah.
mean, Arthur Ashe kind of, you know, kicked down the door and or left the door cracked, and they just came, you know, right through it, and you know the things they did, and you know, and the movie about their life, you know, was also, and their father was, you know, I don't know if I had talked about that on a recent, you know, podcast, but I mean that was, you know, that was a good movie as well, but just seeing the run that she's had, you know, and
Yeah.
everything she's gone through is definitely, you know, a testament of athleticism and, you know, I mean, representing for the culture, you know. So definitely, I hope that she's doing her thing. You know, I mean, I know she's getting a little longer in the tooth. You know, there's some young cats coming up behind her. You know, so the competition is fierce. You know, but I hope that she can go out on a high note, even if she doesn't win and take it all. I mean, just still performing at that level. You know, for so long. I mean, that's something we got to appreciate. You know, so I mean, if she doesn't win it, we still got to tip our hat to her and salute her. You know, because that's big.
Got to. Like you said, she's playing this. She's playing this week, and you know what I'm saying. If you haven't seen it, definitely watch her. And I'm like not gonna give you a spoiler alert. Definitely watch her. You know, and that's some dope shit, man. Just like you said.
Yeah.
Because like I said, you know what I'm saying, that our future is what they see right now, right? And what they see right now, you know what I'm saying, it's interesting. And I do love in this US Open, I appreciate what they're doing in their commercials as well.
Yeah.
The commercials are dope, man. And right now we just we gotta capitalize on just not even just from a financial, just on loving our skin, who you know what I'm saying?
Man, I agree, man.
So yeah, man, it's some dope shit. Like you said, give her flowers while she's here. And that's another conversation I do want to have. You know, I want to have a conversation about there's some interesting discussion as to, I'm not saying controversy, so everyone relax. But there is some discussion on the reasons as to why she's retiring.
Mm.
Right? And I've been having some discussions about it. So, I definitely want to leave it up to the folks listening as to tell me what your thoughts are as to, you don't know, look it up so you're informed before you just make an opinion, without any fact. But I want y'all to let us know what y'all think about why she's retiring or what the rumor is, as to why she's retiring. Either way, you know what I'm saying? She's still a queen and she's killing it.
Yeah, exactly, man. Fair enough, man. All right, man, before we get out of here, man, anything else on your chest or your mind this week that you wanna put out there?
Nah, man, like I say, we about to. This summer owes me nothing. I put it like that. You know what I'm saying? Summer owes me nothing. We're just enjoying the good times, the end of the summer, about to go in the fall, and but I do want to say, I'm excited about, a couple guests coming up. It is September. We're gonna be talking about the sickle cell month.
Okay.
And it's something that impacts our community. And when I say that, I think that's a bias that we think, or a stereotype that you think when it's just our community, right? It's a lot about it that I don't think people know, and it's something very serious. Yeah, it impacts us, a lot, but it impacts the world, right? Of just the way we process it, think about it, our ideas or whatever, what I'm saying, what we just think about what sickle cell is and all that. So we got some good guests coming up to talk about that. So definitely make sure y'all check us out on that.
Definitely, and I'm making a trip back to the East Coast, back to the DMV. So hopefully we'll be able to hop in the studio together and do something live. So looking forward to that as well. And
Sure.
We'll see. But you're right though. The summer as we know it is coming to an end. I mean, school has started. Kids are back in school. Labor Day is upon us.
Yeah.
How they say, Memorial Day is kind of the kickoff to summer. I mean, Labor Day is kind of the finale. Pools start closing up. So, Football is about to start. Got a couple fancy football drafts coming up. I'm not even going to talk about, the times I got to be up for drafts. I got one draft that starts at 3 in the morning. I got the first pick. So that's a lot of pressure at 3 a.m. But I'm not going to complain. We do what needs to get done.
I hear you.
And looking for a good season. Trying to win the pot again. It's been a couple years since we won. So definitely looking forward to that. And I know we're going to have an interesting show next week of recapping Labor Day, because got a full weekend on this side. So definitely looking forward to sharing with the people what's going on out here in the sandbox.
That's what's up. That's what's up. That's what's up. Yeah, man. We like you said, Labor Day. We in the streets. Definitely looking forward to that.
Indeed, man. Indeed. Well, hey, before we get out of here, once again, shout out to Shisha to you. Don't forget you can follow them on IG. You can keep up with us on Twitter at In the Bowl Pod. Definitely leave us your feedback, comments, opinions. Everything we discuss, we always say, we're two highly opinionated individuals. So we definitely love to hear the opinions of others. We love a good debate. A good conversation just about things. We're two guys who, if you can't tell, we love to talk. So definitely hit us up. We always say it, don't forget, keep those hookahs clean, so that way it's ready for, the next use. Go ahead and rinse out that bowl, get that water out the base, make sure that, your equipment is sanitary and hygienic, so when you have guests come over, you're not trying to kill those people. So until next week, hey, we appreciate you all.
As always, click like and subscribe.